is gone. Who's
Okay.
going to go?
Okay. Guys, get your Bible. Get a Bible. Get a Bible. Get a Bible. Mr. Jesse's about to win this game. You ready? It's the first person who's able to finish their donut.
I lost miserably. What? He did it first, actually. He actually did it.
Bible Father and silver box.
Bless you. Bless your name.
Have your water.
No, we're waiting to talk to her. Sorry. Just finish your water right here. That's what you found earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, hang on. Which Bible are you using?
NLT, NLT. Hey, Jason,
You just using this?
Where is my Bible?
I think it's like.
Oh,
You
sorry.
just have two? You didn't get to go. Do you want to go? There's one more. on
What's
the
up,
screen.
what?
Put it up and you can just go by
I'm
yourself.
done. There's nothing in my mouth. Okay.
Oh, there's.
Thank you. That's all in my Bible. Yeah, it's NLT. Mine's two translations.
We'll
I have
just.
NLT and Central. All the same thing. Okay, good morning, guys. We're going to get started.
I actually did one.
We are going to be in Genesis 17. What? I'm stuck in my donuts. I have a big old piece of donut stuck in the bottom of my shoe. Genesis chapter 17.
I don't like it. Is there anything?
No, not this one. I'm sorry.
My stuff is over here.
Okay. Bible, Genesis 17. Everybody there? You getting there? Okay, what did we talk about last week? Who can refresh my memory? You weren't here. Brielle wasn't here.
I wasn't here. Hold this count. Oh, we talked about. I'm gonna guess.
What did we talk about?
about the Bible.
Was Jace here? Awesome, Jace was here. What's up? What you got, big dog? Where were we?
Oh, we talked about
Abram. Yeah. Talked about God's covenant with Abram, right? He took him outside, said, look at the night sky, see how many stars there are. If you can count the number of stars, see if you can count the number of stars. That'll be the number of your descendants, right? Just innumerable. How many kids did Abram end up having?
20. 2 million times.
How many kids did Abram end up having? 2, correct. How many were God's plan? 1, right? And 1 was the plan of man, right? He had Ishmael through his wife's maidservant, Hagar. He had a son, Ishmael. And then through Sarai, they were both super old at this point, right? They're in their hundreds. Or he's 100 and she's 90 something. I mean, they're close in age. They end up having Isaac. So that's where we're going to be at today with 17. We're going to talk about name changes. So, verse 1, when Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, I am El Shaddai, God Almighty. Serve me faithfully and live a blameless life. I will make a covenant with you by which I will guarantee to give you countless descendants. At this, Abram fell face down on the ground. Then God said to him, this is my covenant with you. I'll make you the father of a multitude of nations. What's more, I'm changing your name. It'll no longer be Abram. Instead, you'll be called Abraham, for you will be the father of many nations. I'll make you extremely fruitful. Your descendants will become many nations, and kings will be among them. I will confirm my covenant with you and your descendants after you, from generation to generation. This is an everlasting covenant. I will always be your God and the God of your descendants after you. Verse 8, and I will give you the entire land of Canaan, where you now live as a foreigner. To you and your descendants, it will be their possession forever, and I will be their God. The mark of the covenant. Verse 9, then God said to Abram, your responsibility is to obey the terms of the covenant. You and all your descendants have this continual responsibility. This is the covenant which you and your descendants must keep. Each male among you must be circumcised. You must first cut off the flesh of your foreskin as a sign of the covenant between me and you. From generation to generation, every male child must be circumcised on the 8th day after his birth. This applies not only to members of your family, but also to servants born in your household and the foreign-born servants whom you have purchased. All must be circumcised. Your bodies will bear the mark of my everlasting covenant. Any male who fails to be circumcised will be cut off from the covenant family for breaking the covenant. So what he's talking about there is circumcision. We're not going to get into the act of that. We're not going to get into specifics of that. Right? It's a thing that happens with males at birth now, and it's removing of skin. Right? What he's getting at here is that you're cutting off that flesh. You're cutting off that earthly desire, and that's when we start following after Christ. We have what Paul calls the circumcision of the heart. We cut off that flesh from our heart. We quit following after things of the world. Right? Jesus Christ says, anyone that wants to be a follower of me must deny himself, pick up his cross daily, and follow after me. So that's that cutting off of the fleshly heart. You're no longer following after the things of this world. You're following after the things of Christ, and that's the mark we bear in ourselves. This was an Old Testament way of symbolizing that. Just like baptism is a symbol. It doesn't mean anything. Getting dunked in water, like your parents used to dunk you in water all the time as a baby to wash your hair. You weren't being baptized, right? It wasn't a special act. Going up there and doing it, there's nothing magical that happens in that water. There's nothing magical that happens when the person pushes you under. Right? It's a symbol for you that you are showing the rest of the world, I'm choosing to follow after Christ. And that's all it is. And you've already made the change, you've already accepted the change, you've already started following, but you're following through that by showing everybody else outwardly, this is the change I've made. And that's what circumcision was supposed to be. It's a setting apart of a people. So I am not like the other people that I'm around. We are a different people. Right? We follow different things. We follow different gods. Then God said to Abraham. So now we see in Scripture his name has changed. He was Abram. Now we're seeing the change. It's going into effect. Then God said to Abraham, regarding Sarah, your wife, her name will no longer be Sarai. From now, her name will be Sarah. And I will bless her and give you a son for her. Yes, I will bless her richly, and she will become the mother of many nations. Kings of nations will be among her descendants. Then Abram bowed down to the ground, but he laughed to himself in disbelief. How could I become a father at age 100, he thought, and how can Sarah have a baby when she is 90 years old? So Abram said to God, may Ishmael live under your special blessing. So that name Sarah. So Sarai, I can't remember the translation of what it means. But when he changes her name to Sarah, Sarah means princess. Because she's the father of many kings, so that a royal lineage will follow after her. So he changes her name to princess. So Abraham means father of many nations, Sarah means princess. So you have the father of many nations with the princess giving birth to a royal line. And that's where the royal line comes all the way down to Jesus Christ. That's in the beginning of the gospel is when it gives Jesus lineage, it traces all the way back. I think is it Matthew that goes back to... It's Matthew that goes back to Abraham, and then Luke that goes all the way back to Adam. And so we can track his lineage all the way back. And so we see here, Abram and Sarah's names are now changed. They're set apart people. They're different. Right? When you start following after Christ, we don't give you a different name. It's not like you come to the church and your name is Kitty, and then all of a sudden you accept Jesus Christ, and we're like, you're no longer Kitty, you're now Lauren. Like, that'd be weird. But this is God's covenant with his people. Right? This is, once again, it's just that outward expression of an inward change. And so you may not take on a different name, but you take on a different personality when you start following after Christ. I used to listen to really bad music. I used to have a really bad mouth. Cussed a lot. I listened to a lot of music with a lot of cussing in it. And so I'm different now than I was. Right? I don't cuss anymore. I don't listen to that music anymore, except for when I'm subjected to it at work. That's all they listen to at work. But even then, it's not I don't enjoy it. It's a hurtful thing for me because I am a different person. I've taken on a different persona, a different personality. And they see that. They see that at work. They know that I don't do those things. I don't talk that way. Right? It's because that's an outward expression of an inward change. I've had a revelation from Christ. I have a relationship with him. So now I no longer live under those things. God replied, verse 19, no, Sarah your wife will give a birth to a son for you. You will name him Isaac, and will confirm my covenant with him and his descendants as an everlasting covenant. As for Ishmael, I will bless him also, just as you have asked. I'll make him extremely fruitful and multiply his descendants. He'll become the father of 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will be confirmed with Isaac, who will be born to you and Sarah about this time next year. When God had finished speaking, he left Abraham. On that very day, Abraham took his son Ishmael, every male in his household, including those born there and those he had bought. Then he circumcised them, cutting off their foreskins, just as God had told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and Ishmael his son was 13. Both Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised on the same day, along with all the other men and boys of the household. Whether they were born or bought as servants, all were circumcised with him. So here we see God is telling him, you're going to have a son. He's laughing, not in derision, so not a haughty laughter, not a, I'm trying to think of a smaller word for that, he's not doubting God's power. He's not saying like, when your parents tell you that you guys don't really believe, they say something and you go, okay, like that's not really going to happen. You kind of laugh a little bit in your heart because you think that's not really going to happen. That's not the laughter that Abraham has right here. It's a laughter of joy. He's excited for what God has because God's promising him things, and it's not a questioning God's sovereignty on how will it happen, but it's a joyful how will it happen. Like, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen. I'm so excited to see what God's going to do for us. And so he's already confirming here that his name will be Isaac. Isaac means laughter. Right? And so he's already being born. And you'll see later on when we get into 18, that Sarah has the same reaction, but in a different way. Hers is she doubts God's power in that sense. Whenever Jesus says you're going to have a son, she laughs in her heart. Right? What time is it? Do I have time to run through 18? 10:01? Not unless we want to do small groups. Okay. So 18. What we're going to see is we'll see Jesus and two other angels are walking. They're walking towards Sodom, towards the ultimate destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, but along the way they stop and they take a little break, a little siesta with Abraham. They have a conversation. Heat of the day, they enjoy some milk, some meat, and they're just standing around talking. The reason we know it's Jesus, theophany, is it mentions that he is the angel of the Lord, along with two other angels. Anytime in the Old Testament, when it talks about the Word or the angel of the Lord, it's talking about Jesus coming down to earth in his heavenly form, his spiritual form. He hasn't come down to flesh yet, right? We're not in the New Testament yet, but this is a theophany. This is his first walking of the earth before he comes down in his earthly form as Jesus Christ, the God-man. So he has a conversation with Abraham. He says, you're going to have a kid. This time next year, I'm going to come back. You'll have a kid. His name will be Isaac. Sarah is eavesdropping, right? Because she's serving these dudes. She brings the milk, meat, a little bit of bread, something to drink. And then she goes inside, but she's standing right behind the door. Like when your parents are having a conversation about whether you can spend a night at your friend's house and you're not supposed to be there, but you stand out in the hallway and you listen to try and see if you can hear what they're talking about. That's what Sarah's doing, right? She's dropping in on that conversation. And then when he says you're going to have a kid, in her heart, she laughs. She questions in her mind, how? I'm so old. My husband's so old. How are we going to have a kid? She laughs in her heart. And Jesus is sitting there and he says, why does your wife Sarah laugh? And then she thinks to herself, like, there's no way you can hear me. I didn't laugh. Surely I didn't laugh. And he says, she's right inside the doorway. She doubts this in her heart. Therefore, his name will be Isaac. He makes it known to her that your son's name will be Laughter, because both you and Sarah have laughed at this idea. His name will now be Laughter. That's where we get Isaac. So, we're going to run through small groups really quickly. I need to send you questions. You have the questions?
No, they're printed out there.
Are they? No, they're not. Better to them.
Then no, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
then they got email.
okay, so we're going to break off into small groups. Guys on the left side of the room, girls on the right side. We're going to try and be quiet because this room, I'm sure sound goes out. Oh, sorry, guys. My left side, your right. Girls, my right side, your left. What? I had donut on the bottom of my shoes.
I'm gonna grab a seat. Pull it up to the table. There's not many of us.
Okay, guys, let's move to small groups. Mr. Casey.
Oh, I love it.